Welcome into the BCU Wildcat Football Insider Show, a bye week for the Wildcats this past Saturday, but we're not taking a bye week on the show today. I'm the voice of the Wildcats, Nolan Alexander, filling in for the Vice President of Intercollegiate Athletics, Lynn Thompson. I'd like to welcome into the show our Assistant AD for Communications, Brian Harvey. Brian, how you doing today?
Doing great, Nolan. Thank you for having me.
Looking forward to seeing the Wildcats take on South Carolina State this Saturday at 4 p.m. Brian, let's talk about the season this far. BCU sitting at 2-3 on the season. Head coach Terry Sims said the record not what the Wildcats want, but operationally as far as all three phases of the game, offense, defense, and special teams, BCU is where it needs to be. What do you make of the Wildcats season thus far?
You know what? I think he's about right. It's not where you want it to be, but it is a very good spot to be in 2-3. It could be 0-5. I mean, there's a lot of teams out there that are winless right now, but then again, you look at it, you want to be 5-0. Let's just put it in comparison, though. You lose to the University of Miami, who's in the top 20 right now. That was a very, very good ball club, and you go down there, new offensive coordinator. You're talking about being without one of your top quarterbacks in Akevius Williams. You had a couple other injuries that happened before the game, and you play Miami toe-to-toe, and you get basically a standing ovation from Mark Richt and that team at the end of the game where they were really out there saying some great things. Then you go to Southeastern Louisiana. You're off put by the hurricane. You're kind of displaced a little bit. It was tough on you with travel and everything else. You get a big win down there, and you're talking about a very big non-conference win, not only for Bethune-Cookman, but for the MEAC. And then you go to FAU. Short week. Again, hurricane, everything kind of displacing. You guys weren't able to get back into the dorm, so you're still in a hotel. So you feel like it's just one long road trip, you know, almost like those baseball road trips where you're gone for 2-3 weeks at a time. So you look at FAU, very good ball club. They were looking for their first win, very motivated under Lane Kiffin, very good team. A lot of kids out of Florida, they knew this ball club. So there was no getting around trying to not only beat that team, but match up and find the weaknesses of that team, because you had two former MEAC coaches on that staff anyway, with Gary Harrell and then of course one we're very familiar with, DJ McCarthy. So you look at that, you take a loss in that game, but that's a very good team. Then you go to Howard. Okay, Howard is a team that is up and coming. Mike London, very good team. Tough loss near the end of the game, but again, you saw some positives out of that game. You had a couple breakout stars from that game. Then you come home, get a big win over Savannah State. So there are a lot of positives in this season. Of course, a couple of negatives that you want to clean up, but again, positives outweigh the negatives in my opinion.
The last time we saw the Wildcats on the field, though, with 24-12 home win over Savannah State, and then we had the bye week this past Saturday. What did the Wildcats do to use that bye week to their advantage? Easy
question. No, the easy answer to that question, and that is you want to get healthy. You want to make sure you get those guys in the ice bath, you get those guys with some ice, you get in the training room, you start getting in the weight room. You work on some things also in the team meeting room. So you're talking about special teams, offense, defense, some things that you tweak a little bit. You put a lot on camera during the first 5 games of the year because you want to try to get those wins. Well, now you're going in the heart of your conference schedule. Those teams think they have you scouted. So you start working on formations. You got a new offensive coordinator, Alan Subert. So what you want to do is have him tweak some things. They think they know what you're going to run now. You make it so that they don't know what you're going to run. You really use this week to your advantage, and that's what they did.
Big question for you. Out of the first 5 games, who would you name as BCU's team MVP?
Ooh, you know what? That's a really tough question. They've been all over the place right now. But right now, I'm going to go to Quan Richardson. I think that defensive player, he is a monster back there. I mean, not only is he one of those guys that leads your defense, I think he leads your team because the team sparks off of his kind of motivation. That guy is all over the field lately, Nolan. I know you on radio, you've called his name numerous times, I'm sure. Interceptions, defensive breakups, coming up against the run, blitzes, just all kind of things that Yogi Jones and that defense have been able to use him for. He's done it. Right now, that's my team MVP.
Can't fail with Deuce, number 22, starting safety for the Wildcats. Tougher question for you. What has been your play of the season thus far?
You know what? I'm going to say the play of the season has been, oh, boy, you really threw me on the spot there. But I'm going to say Southeast Louisiana, Larry Brim going in. I think that touchdown, that kind of go-ahead touchdown down at Southeast Louisiana, that team had just gotten a 95-yard or 92-yard touchdown return put on them. They could have folded. They could have said, it's not our night. We'd had a tough second half. They didn't. They went back down the field. Then it was a review. They said that Mike Jones didn't get in. So what do? You go right back to Larry Brim. You go into center. He rushes in. That really changed the tone of that team. They believe they can win then because you get that taste of, oh, this is going to be another defeat. They took it from us late. Nope, they won it late. You get a good win. I think that's the play of the season so far.
So you go with the Cajun comeback, the play of the season thus far. Let's take a look at that play and some others from the first 5 games for BCU. Jones bounces out to the left. He's at the 30. Cuts out two receivers at the 35. He's at the 40, and he's out of bounds with a Bethune-Cookman 1st and 10. Takes the draw. Throws hitch route. Caught near the 25. Spinning ahead inside the 20. Snap. Good hold. The kick from Fernandez has the distance. And it's true. Walton, right side. And he spun up right near the line of scrimmage. Brim throws. Caught by Joel Davis. Ajuka the 30. He's got a 1st down out to the Miami 28-yard line. Throws left side. Wide open. Joel Davis at the sticks. He's got a 1st down. Throws in the flats. Caught by Tompkins. 40, 45. Gets a block. He's across midfield. Down the far sideline. Jamaris Tompkins in a foot race. And he's finally pushed out of bounds. Gets the snap. Handed off. Jones dives for the end zone. Touchdown. BCU. To the left. It is hammered down shy of the 20. Pocket throws it deep. Has an open man. It's caught at the southeastern 45. Breaks the tackle at the 40. And down near the 30-yard line. Throws off the back foot. Back in the end zone for Cruz. Did he catch it? Yes, he did. Touchdown, BCU. Deep right side, one-on-one, and it is intercepted by Bethune-Cookman. Picked off on the wide side of the field. Sign rollout. Brim throws, middle of the end zone. Caught. Touchdown, BCU. Brim under center with the snap. Leans ahead. Did he get in? No sign just yet. And there we go, touchdown BCU. Goes to the right side with an alley, leads ahead, a 1st down and more. Jones stiff arms the outside at the 50, and he's brought down. Now to Parr, throws deep, right seam, and it's picked off by the Wildcats at the 10-yard line. Takes a counter play wide to the right side, and he's brought down for a loss of the 27. Parr wants to throw, pressure comes, slips out of a sack at the 30, but he's brought down to the 29-yard line. Pocket breaks down, and he's sacked. Back at the 26-yard line, Noe gets up and runs, and Larry takes off. Officials are still tracking it. Larry's at the 5, Larry's at the 3. Larry's in for a touchdown, BCU, my goodness. It throws it deep right end zone, one-on-one, and it's caught for a touchdown, Frank Brown. It's Newton, 3-step drop. Pocket collapses, and Kalen Newton goes down. Slot in motion, shovel pass right side, Bird looking for the edge at the 25, at the 20, at the 15. Bird puts on the Jets, and he's in pay dirt. Touchdown, BCU. This would be a career long. Snap, hold, the kick from Hernandez. It is good. Gibbons jukes, and he's tackled from behind shy of the 25-yard line. Keeper, Brim to the far side, Brim at the 5, and he runs it for a touchdown, BCU. Pressuring off the left side, here come the Wildcats, and Gibbons is sacked. Steps up to the pocket, runs near side 45-50, 45-40, along the sideline at the 30. Akivia still tiptoeing inside the 20. Hold is down, the kick from Uriel Hernandez is true. Gibbons will keep it after a play action to Saxton. He's wrapped up and dropped for a big loss. Straight ahead, breaks tackle 25, cuts near side of the 30. Frank Brown at the 35, the 40, out of the 45. He's at the 50. Brown still running, and he's finally brought down. Handoff up the middle. Nice cut to the right side. Stiff over the 40-yard line. At the 45, Tompkins tight rope to the sideline. 35-30, 25-10. Tompkins will take it home. Touchdown, BCU. Handoff again. Tompkins spinning. He's at the 40. Tompkins at the 45. Lowers his shoulders. Another 1st down out. Sprints out to his left. Akivius tucks at the 40, 45, 50, 45, and runs out of bounds to the 40-yard line. Up now reverse along the far side. Quayshawn Bird at the 30, 25 to the 20. Cuts the far side of the 15, and he's pushed out of bounds. Slot motion shovel pitch. Bird near side of the 10. Bird looking for the edge. He's got it. Touchdown, BCU. Pressure up the middle. He steps up out of it, but then he'll be sacked.
On the road, from the MEAC SWAC Challenge to the Celebration Bowl, everyone is competing from start to finish. A MEAC championship is not only on the line, but so is a trip to the new Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Each game will count, from the first to the last. With dominating offenses and powerful defenses, we leave it all on the field. And at the end of the road, only one team will be standing as the MEAC football champion. And we'll see you in Atlanta on December 16th.
The biggest rivalry in HBCU sports is back on Saturday, November 18th. The Bethune-Cookman Wildcats and Florida A&M Rattlers return to the Camping World Stadium in Orlando for the Florida Blue Florida Classic. Be there for the 38th annual showdown, including the highly anticipated Battle of the Bands between the world-famous Marching Wildcats and Marching 100. Proceeds benefit scholarship programs at BCU and FAMU. Tickets are as low as $20. Get your tickets today at floridaclassic.org.
In the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, success for our student athletes isn't just measured by wins and losses, points on the scoreboard, or individual stats. It's also measured by their performance in the classroom, in the community, and ultimately graduation. Our student athletes aren't just playing to win a single game, they're playing to win at life. Because games end, but life keeps on going. The MEAC, educating student athletes for the game of life.
And welcome back to the BCU Wildcat Football Insider Show. I'm Nolan Alexander, joined by Brian Harvey. This isn't the only way to get an inside look at the Wildcats. Be sure to check out BCU all over social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. The Wildcats have you covered. Brian, there is a similar storyline to this season from 2016 now to 2017, and that is that BCU has had to deal with a hurricane and Hurricane Irma passing through this year. One thing that's different, though, not as many injuries in 2017 from 2016. What position group to you has looked the healthiest and the best thus far?
You know, for me so far, I think it's been the offensive line. I mean, you look at guys like Dwayne Brown, Chris Adams, Philip Norman. Those guys have really held their own. Joe Buserith. There's a lot of guys on the line that take a beating, and especially in the up-tempo offense that Alan Tuber's running right now. You talk about guys that have to be to the line, get down, get set, and then get the ball to Larry Brim and Kevius Williams and Jabari Dunham. These are guys that are really out there in the trenches. Offensive line, for me, has been the one that has been absolutely the standout and healthiest.
Got to give love to the big men up front. There have been some injuries, though. That's the game of football. It happens every year. Who have been some faces that have stepped up and rose to the occasion? I
think you talk about Devin James, Marquise Hendricks. Those guys have stepped up when Arthur Williams got banged up a little bit at University of Miami game. You look at those guys. The defensive players have really stepped up for each other. A couple of those guys took some lumps against Mark Walton and those guys at Miami. But for me, Devin James and Marquise Hendricks really stepped up. Then you got a guy like Jamaris Tompkins who comes in. Mike Jones last year, we all know, was out, but Jamaris has come in this year, carried the load on some of those big long runs as he had against Savannah State. He's a guy I think also has really stepped up and used his time wisely, and that's a kid that I just love to see play.
JT is a great point right there. Career day against the Tigers, 126 rushing yards, had a career-long 69-yard touchdown run as well. Let's talk a little bit about that running back group. I don't think since the Miami game, collectively, has that group been healthy. You've had different backs, namely Michael D. Jones, Jamaris Tompkins, Tupac Ismay, Cameron Rigby, carry the load at different times. What do you make out of the running back group so far this year?
I think the ball's been spread around real well. I think that's the one thing that you have to do. We don't have a 30-down back anymore. You know, the guys like Anthony Jordan a couple years ago that had that bulkiness and could really take 30 downs a game, that's gone. So you have more scat backs, more smaller guys, which is a fast-paced offense running back. That's kind of what it's going to nowadays. That smash and dash kind of thing is kind of fading away in college football. You're getting more young, loose and lean guys that can kind of move around and shift you a little bit more. I think the running back game has been spectacular as far as really being able to spread the ball around, 5 downs for this guy, 6 downs for this guy, and I think it's kept everyone a little bit healthier rather than taking 30 hits a game.
I like your thoughts on the running back group. Let's get the thoughts from Jamaris Tompkins and see what he thinks about BCU thus far. Well, you just had a career day. We welcome in Jamaris Tompkins here to the BCU Wildcat Football Insider Show against Savannah State. 126 yards on the ground, a 69-yard touchdown. Now, last year, you were third-team All-MEAC with 371 rushing yards.
Yes, sir.
So, poor math for me. That was about a third of your rushing total from last year came in that one game.
Yeah.
What was your mindset entering the Savannah State game?
Man, we just, as a team, man, we needed to win. We really needed to win, and it sparked something special. And I've seen a lot of special things within, with the teammates, and it was very inspirational. And here in this game, I knew, we had to come together as a team, lock in, and get the job done.
Now, you made some great moves. You also had some big holes to run through. How do you rate your offensive line's performance against the Tigers?
Man, I love them guys, man. Those guys are ballers. Rating them, 10 out of 10, man. Those are my favorite guys, my favorite players on the field. So working with them, it's a true honor, man. It's a true honor, definitely.
Now, I've heard after the game there's some great pictures between you and your family.
Oh, yeah.
What's the impact that your family's had on where you are as a person and a player today?
They raised me to be the young man I am today. They haven't missed anything in my life. I'm very, grateful and humble to have them in my life. Man, I love them very much. Definitely.
You're a redshirt senior here for BCU, so that means you graduated from Bethune-Cookman. So I want to give you congrats there on a job well done.
Yes, sir.
But with that, you're also in grad school right now. What are you studying and why?
Well, the program I'm in mental health counseling. I'm set to graduate in 2019. Reasons for being in that program, I really have a big heart for people in general, not just kids, but people in general. So, my share of love and inspiration, wanting to go into the school system and stuff like that, it's a big inspiration to try to, help somebody out. It's all about helping.
What do you want to do in the school system?
I really want to be a principal. Yeah.
Why so?
Just really want to, lead people in the right direction, lead the kids in the right direction. Coming from a college athlete, later on in life, whenever the opportunity comes, just giving them hope that, life is what you make it. Life is about, taking advantage of every opportunity that you have. So that's a big inspiration for me.
Any coaching in the future as well?
Oh yeah, definitely. Doesn't matter what level, who knows, I might end up back here. If Coach Sims hired me, then hey, good.
All right, Coach Sims, there you go. He's looking for a job. Jamaris, has there been anyone that's played a big role as far as being a mentor to you that's led you to wanting to be a principal or a coach?
I would say, probably I really look up to Mr. Lynn Thompson. That's a good guy. He's probably one of my favorite guys overall on this campus. He's like another father to me. Coach Sims, all the coaches really, being in this program for about 4 or 5 years, I've seen coaches come and go, but this group of coaches, we have a bond like no other. So, they all watched me ever since I even first got here, So, I love them to death as well.
Well, I'm sorry you didn't get Mr. Thompson to interview you today. You're stuck with me.
That's all good.
But Jamaris, we appreciate your time. Good luck Saturday against South Carolina State.
Thank you.
Wildcat fans will return up next, continuing the talk of the BCU football season, and we'll meet another guest to the program. This is the BCU Wildcat Football Insider Show.
On the road, from the MEAC SWAC Challenge to the Celebration Bowl, everyone is competing from start to finish. A MEAC championship is not only on the line, but so is a trip to the new Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Each game will count, from the first to the last. With dominating offenses and powerful defenses, we leave it all on the field. And at the end of the road, only one team will be standing as the MEAC football champion. And we'll see you in Atlanta on December 16th.
The biggest rivalry in HBCU sports is back on Saturday, November 18th. The Bethune-Cookman Wildcats and Florida A&M Rattlers return to Camping World Stadium in Orlando for the Florida Blue Florida Classic. Be there for the 38th annual showdown, including the highly anticipated Battle of the Bands between the world-famous Marching Wildcats and Marching 100. Proceeds benefit scholarship programs at BCU and FAMU. Tickets are as low as $20. Get your tickets today at floridaclassic.org.
In the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, success for our student athletes isn't just measured by wins and losses, points on the scoreboard, or individual stats. It's also measured by their performance in the classroom, in the community, and ultimately graduation. Our student athletes aren't just playing to win a single game, they're playing to win at life. Because games end, but life keeps on going. The MEAC, educating student athletes for the game of life.
So glad to have you back on the BCU Wildcat Football Insider Show. Be sure to keep up with everything BCU Athletics at www.bcuathletics.com. Brian, let's continue the talk for the Wildcats here in 2017. Give me one guy on each side of the ball who you think has yet to peak this season and we'll see more of in the second half of the year.
I think you've yet to see Jawil Davis yet. You haven't seen the real Jawil yet. This is a guy that has absolutely everything in his arsenal to be a Sunday player in the NFL. You haven't seen the best of him yet. Offensively, that's who I've got. Defensively, I got to say Trenton Bridges. It's the local kid. This guy showed it last year that he's got it in his arsenal at that middle linebacker position. He hasn't quite shown what he's capable of this season yet. I think it's coming.
Let's go on the flip side. Give me a breakout player on offense and defense who the Wildcat fans have been surprised to see so far.
Easiest question you've asked me all day. I think Quayshawn Byrd on offense. This is a kid that is a walk-on. He's making a name for himself, and he has really come in elusive, shifty, fast. My goodness, he's fast, and he's really shown that so far. 2 touchdowns on the year. No one really expected that. He has broken out. Defensively, So easy to answer this one. It's Marquise Hendricks. This is a guy that has maroon and blood in his veins. I mean, it is pumping out Nolan Alexander. This is a guy that I know you've called his name several times on the radio. He is a kid that is breaking out. He's showing what he's worth, and he's going to be even better in the future.
He's been a great player. Let's meet Marquise Hendricks. Marquise, you join us here today, and starting out the season, we didn't hear your name all too often over the PA and on broadcast, but my goodness, the last 3 games, I know on the radio I've sounded like a broken tape recorder. Marquise Hendricks on the tackle, Marquise Hendricks on the tackle. What do you think has led to your rise in production over the past 3 games?
Just being comfortable with my playbook and going out there and playing, making the plays that I need to make and doing my job.
Was there anything that head coach Terry Sims or defensive coordinator Yogi Jones did to support you and challenge you as well to grow as a player?
They made me go out there and be a leader, even though I'm still kind of young on the field, and just push me to do everything the right way and be responsible and be a leader at the end of the day.
You're a junior, this is your first year with the program, and you came in during the summer, so you didn't have a lot of time to learn the playbook. You joined us from Coffeyville Community College in Kansas, a big JUCO program out there, and you and I were talking beforehand. You watched the Netflix series Last Chance U out of East Mississippi College in Scuba, Mississippi. Tell us, what are the similarities between that school and where you came from?
It's a lot of similarities. It's the same exact thing. It's nothing to do. You have to focus on your schoolwork and focus on football at the end of the day to go to the next level, and have to push yourself each and every day to make sure you succeed.
Have you carried over an edge from playing there and knowing this was your last chance to where you are now at BCU?
Most definitely. It made me more hungrier and made me humble and had a lot of ways to work on myself. Yes, sir.
Why did you choose BCU?
Because my father played here. Back in the 90s, played safety, and then my mom went to school here too, and so I had family tradition, and then plus it was close to home.
So blood maroon and sun gold is truly in your blood, isn't it?
Right, yes, sir.
What was it like growing up a BCU fan? Do you have any memories of going to games?
The classic, I had a lot of memories, went to plenty of those, and just seeing the atmosphere and the environment, the band, and football players, I just loved it.
Now, you started out your college career originally from Ocala, Florida. You chose Boise State, and then you went to Kansas and Coffeyville. So now you're back home here in Daytona. So really, you have been all over the country. How excited was your family when you told them, "I'm going to go to BCU"?
They was excited. They was happy, and they was be able to see me play football games and won't have to fly across the country. So, and it was right down the street, so they loved it.
What did your father say to you after your first game against the University of Miami?
He told me he was proud of me. It was the first time he seen me play in collegiate football on TV, so he was just happy.
So you're coming off the bye week, the Wildcats 1-1 in the MEAC. You got a big home win over Savannah State. What are you looking forward to this Saturday against the Bulldogs of South Carolina State?
Just to go out there and play, and just to win this game and control their offense and make sure we have to stop the run, and they're going to try to run the ball down our throat, and we know we have to stop it. We know what's coming.
Well, Marquise, thanks for joining us. Good luck to you and the Wildcats this Saturday against South Carolina State.
Thank you.
All right, Wildcat fans, almost done with the show, but you don't want to go anywhere. Up next, we'll give you a behind-the-scenes look for the promo shoot of this Saturday's Gold Rush game. This is the BCU Wildcat Football Insider Show.
On the road, from the MEAC SWAC Challenge to the Celebration Bowl, everyone is competing from start to finish. A MEAC championship is not only on the line, but so is a trip to the new Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Each game will count, from the first to the last. With dominating offenses and powerful defenses, we leave it all on the field. And at the end of the road, only one team will be standing as the MEAC football champion. And we'll see you in Atlanta on December 16th.
The biggest rivalry in HBCU sports is back on Saturday, November 18th. The Bethune-Cookman Wildcats and Florida A&M Rattlers return to the Camping World Stadium in Orlando for the Florida Blue Florida Classic. Be there for the 38th annual showdown, including the highly anticipated Battle of the Bands between the world-famous Marching Wildcats and Marching 100. Proceeds benefit scholarship programs at BCU and FAMU. Tickets are as low as $20. Get your tickets today at floridaclassic.org.
In the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, success for our student athletes isn't just measured by wins and losses, points on the scoreboard, or individual stats. It's also measured by their performance in the classroom, in the community, and ultimately graduation. Our student athletes aren't just playing to win a single game, they're playing to win at life. Because games end, but life keeps on going. The MEAC, educating student athletes for the game of life.
The DNA of Bethune-Cookman comes from the heart of a great woman whose legacy lives on today in each and every Wildcat.
I leave you love. I leave you hope.
I leave you a thirst for education.
I leave you faith.
I leave you, finally, a responsibility to our young people.
Great leaders always leave something for others to follow.
What will you leave us?
Fourth quarter time here on the BCU Wildcat Football Insider Show. Big matchup this weekend as Bethune-Cookman hosts South Carolina State Saturday at Larry Kelly Field at 4 p.m. Brian, what should we look for in this matchup?
You're going to look at a matchup that features two teams that have been perennial powers throughout this league for a number of years. You're talking about big men up front, offense and defense. South Carolina State has turned out so many NFL defensive linemen throughout the years. You're going to watch what one team is doing against the other with scheming up with how do I beat this defense, the other team, how do I try to mask this offense.
With that game, it's also a gold rush for BCU fans. The Wildcats in the field are wearing all gold everything. We need you in the stands sporting gold as well. With that, of course, we always do a promo shoot. And inside this promo shoot held at Moore Gymnasium, you see the Wildcats and they're all gold. What's going on here, Brian?
Well, you talk about a team, BCU Creative, and don't sell yourself short, Nolan Alexander. You're part of that BCU Creative with Darian McCaskill, Bianca Cacho, Jasmine Austin, Chris Bell, and even our Director of Marketing, Jamie Hart. A lot of them get together, they come up with ideas, and the Gold Rush was one of them. We want to make everything gold at Municipal Stadium. This is a place that is an absolute dream. You talk about, it's been renamed the Jungle. That came from BCU Creative. The Wild Side over on what used to be the visitor side. Students are moving over there. We want fans to get amped up over on that side. Really give it to the visiting team and promote the team, Bethune-Cookman, on both sides of the stadium. It is our stadium. There's no home side, visitor side anymore. It is our side, and now the Wild Side is behind the visiting team. But again, BCU Creative did a wonderful job getting people together, getting the ideas together for the Gold Rush. All gold, everything. We want to make everything gold and let South Carolina State know we are maroon and gold.
If you need your gold gear, visit bcusportshop.com and stop by the BCU bookstore. Well, that's about all the time we have for today. Brian, any last words for Wildcat Nation?
Yeah, wear gold this weekend. Go get your tickets. The BCU box office. Also, you can get it at Ticketmaster.com. Wear gold, come out, support BCU.
We're looking forward to seeing you tonight, Thursday at 7 p.m. at 90 Degrees Sports Grill for the Terry Sims Show. If you have any questions, send them on Twitter, #SimsShow. Kickoff 4 o'clock Saturday against South Carolina State. Brian, thanks for joining us today. I'm the voice of the Wildcats, Nolan Alexander. We'll see you Saturday at Municipal Stadium as BCU hosts South Carolina State. Thanks for joining us on the BCU Wildcat Football Insider Show.